Once upon a time, there was a giant mountain, and it had a penis hole on the top of it, and it exploded into the atmosphere. Down, down rained the jizz of the volcano mountain, and it gave birth to the birds, and it gave birth to life on Earth. Isn't it lovely? It's organic, it's beautiful, it's from the world, and it also gave birth to the 5 sages and the 2, 3, 4 other sages, the 9 sages who oversee the health of the earth. But they notice there's some imbalance in the energy forces in the earth. This is going to create some problems. Find out on the next episode. Well, fuck you. So if you take a look at this first area, what do you think this looks like? Looks a lot to me like a graveyard. I never realized this until now. I don't know how many times I've played this game. This is a graveyard. Who's buried there? I'll bet you it's Clothman's people. He has come from a distant land across the galaxy as a shooting star. He returns to his homeland. I don't know how far he went. I don't know how long he was gone, but it must have been generations. Because this is not the world that he has known. So if we take a look at this structure here, what we're seeing is along the themes of decay and death and the ending, we have this decrepit structure right here. It's fractured, it's falling apart, it's antique, it's old. But there's something that's itching to fight back. And I think it has a lot to do with these little guys here. I think these guys are part of the last remaining cloth organisms left on this planet. Most of Clothman's kind have been wiped out. These are just the few survivors. These little cloth organisms, I imagine they're of the same species as Clothman, but probably a much less evolved form. Maybe it's an extension of the cloth people, these little tiny swatches of cloth. Like for phones are for people in real life. Our phones are an extension of ourselves. That's what I mean to say. Some more stray survivors. It's good to see them. But Clothman wants to know what happened to all his friends. His friends might be dead or alive. He's never heard from them in the many generations that he's been gone traveling at the speed of light across the universe. Time was skewed a little bit by the time he came back. I'm going to open up, see if there's something I might comprehend here. Yep. It's a graveyard. Okay, is my microphone still working? It better be fucking recording everything. Alright. So we're in this little hub world. Now we have a subdivided section of this little ring I would assume would be designated for some sort of deity. Maybe the cloth people had how many gods? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in the back, and the big god in the middle, the 7th god. Maybe they believe in 7 gods, 6 of them reporting to the big dog in the middle. He's the real god, like a rap god, like Eminem. So basically, the cloth people's deity, all-powerful deity, is Eminem. This makes sense. Ooh, see more dilapidated structures. Clearly, some shit went down here. I think there is an entire other species who invaded this planet and destroyed the indigenous people and their way of living. And look at the wasteland that it creates. That's really the core of this story. Now, what do we see over here? We have a dead structure. Now, if you remember later in the game, those crazy snake monsters, it looks like we have a dead one here. This is a dead one, and he happens to have incarcerated some of my buddies, and he eventually died. He was probably wounded in some fashion, but he still executed his ultimate mission, which is to imprison as many indigenous life forms as possible. Alright, episode 2. This goddess is going to tell us a different story, or continue the original story. Okay, so this energy imbalance is very powerful, but the sages, the goddesses, they figure out a way to turn that power into infrastructure. Look at this. Engineering improves, quality of life improves because they let this excess energy flow, but under control. Take a look at the advancements that they make because of this energy force. It powers their entire way of life. So some very good things happening. Industrialization is looking great. We are making so many innovations, advancements in technology and standard of life, that industrialization and the world market is the key to happiness. And you see we're back onto the trail of the Mountain of Light. Now, with this strawberry ice cream colored sand, this pink sand is definitely a different color. The reason why is because when the monsters, these onyx monsters, invaded, they took no prisoners. They went after everyone. This thing was a genocide. The only reason why you see an empty expanse of sand is because it's burying the billions of bodies that are underneath. Now, the problem with all of these bodies underneath the sand is that's a lot of blood. That is a lot of blood. Not a good look. When you're the one who committed that act, whoa, that is a lot of genocide we just did. That's not a good mark on your resume. So we gotta find a way to hide all this blood. The sand is great. The sand will bury the bodies. That won't be a problem. The issue is the blood seeps to the top. You gotta get rid of that. So what do? You take bleach. You take a lot of bleach and a lot of water, and you spray it all across the sand until it kind of gets most of the color, but the color of blood is still kind of there. They just couldn't get that last 3% of blood that is in every square foot of sand here. So it still maintains a little bit of that pink color. Now, look how... Okay, this must be a gigantic sculpture, right? Not a sculpture, a building, a skyscraper. And that might be the base of it. But, no. See, I don't know. Who knows how tall that building is? But look how high that sand goes. It buries almost everything. So that tells you that the weather presents some really interesting challenges. It can be catastrophic how much sand can be moved around here. But at the same time, you look at the innovation in this architecture. You see what the cloth people could build to adapt to their surroundings. Unfortunately, something else got the better of them. Something else. invaded their homeland and destroyed their life as they know it. As we score another glyph here, that'll make our scarf a little bit longer. And as you know, longer scarves make you more fierce and fabulous. And that's what makes you fly for longer distances. This is the journey slalom men's downhill. Alright. Now as we transition into this area, what do you see? Well, looks like a lot of smog. There's a lot of pollution around. We again see the destruction of the original indigenous buildings that the cloth people created. But it looks like something's going on here. Let's check it out. Okay, so what do we see in these buildings? We see more incarceration. We see more incarceration of my people. If you see these scarf jellyfish people, I would assume this is kind of a secondary evolution of cloth person, with cloth man himself being the tertiary evolutionary form of the cloth people, the most advanced form, the form with the most cognitive function to build all of this architecture you see. But you see, something put these level 2 cloth people away. And I think it was those snake onyx people. Now, if you look in here, what you see in here is not... I don't think the cloth people built this. I think the onyx people incorporated this manufacturing machine into the architecture first built by the cloth people. It was a very smart way to conserve resources and time. That's just great strategic planning by the onyx people. But you see, the onyx people bring in all of this extra industrialization and incarceration. What does it create? It creates this wasteland, this decrepit, unhealthy, polluted wasteland. But it's okay. Clothman is going to come back from light years away, and he's going to save the day, because he's a boss. Alright, story time again. The goddess will continue the story. So, we have all of this industry making all of these advancements. We have geothermal power. It's amazing. We can light up the stars. We can light up our cities. Oh, isn't this great? But wait. What's this? Okay, so we're building more infrastructure. Okay. We're continuing to grow astronomically. We're reaching the stars. We're going for the biggest amount of prosperity. Look at that. We're high above the clouds. The goddesses are like, look at what we've built. Oh, more good times for capitalism. What could go wrong? Find out next time. Alright, this has got to be this has got to be my favorite part of this game. Okay, maybe second favorite. Second only to the end of the game. But I love this sequence. You got the song. It's so whimsical and fun as you're carving up the sand. You're taking off jumps. You're soaring through the air. You're carving up the snow some more. Isn't this amazing? I'll call these level 2... call these level 2s. I'll call them... carpet people. They're carpet people. They're the second evolutionary form. As you can see, the level 2 cloth people have developed the ability to communicate with one another through these rudimentary little blips. It's a form of communication that the final form, the cloth people, use, but it was first developed by the carpet people. That's some interesting history on the language of cloth speak. Cloth speak. So they speak a language called cloth speak. I love it. It's a very musical language. It has many crescendos and decrescendos, and so many range and tones, and the timbre and the loudness of the expressions. See, I can start out quiet like this, but if I hold it, I can really blast out a finale of a note that's really quite wonderful. Yes, I just said wonderful. And up, and away we go. Woo, woo. Now, this is one of the more iconic shots of this game. You're gliding across the sand in the twilight, and you get the beautiful mountain with the penis hole in the back. It's so beautiful. You got the sun setting just behind it. It's bringing a tear to my eye, that penis hole. And the sultry, soft violin. We get one last glimpse of the penis hole before we descend into the underworld. What could be possibly built here in the underworld? Did the cloth people build this? Did the cloth people build the underworld? Or did the onyx people build the underworld? Let's find out. Alright, it's story time. Now, usually the goddess is facing towards us, but now she's facing away from us. That would usually denote that she is sad. She has a sad story to tell us. She can't confront us with that feeling. Okay, so the imbalance in energy is starting to dissipate. Something's wrong. Something's off with the geothermal forces. We can't power any of our infrastructure anymore. So the sages get together and think, what are we going to do? All of our energy is disintegrating. And even worse, there's an invading force of onyx people. Assemble your forces. The militia gets together. No, the invading forces are attacking. They're attacking. They're going to take over everything that we've built. Why? This is why the goddess is sad. This makes sense. Alright, there's something eerily beautiful about this underworld here. And what the creative directors are getting at here is a coexistence of decay and beauty. Much like Naughty Dog had accomplished with The Last of Us, you get the beauty of the nature reclaiming its ground amongst the decay of the remnants of human civilization. It's the same idea here. You get the decay of the structures, the buildings that the cloth people built, and you get the beauty of that light seeping through the cracks, creating this kind of spotlight. We have a friend that's joining us. I'm going to say hello in Morse code. Will he reply? He must not be very interested in being my friend. So you're seeing these tunnels here. Now, if you remember in the cutscene, there were these kind of tunnels where they would send the energy through. They would send that imbalanced geothermal energy through these tunnels. It was a great way to control that power. But as you can see, eventually that power disappeared, and it just set everything out of whack that the cloth people had built. You see, these tunnels serve no purpose anymore. Whoa! That's a big onyx person. That's not good. I think this is the onyx people built this. They built their underworld layer / breeding grounds. This is how they propagate their own kind. They sit in a basement and they fertilize. They need to be away from the light. Everything that the Onyx people create is in aversion to the light. They build underground. They create these polluted environments where the sun is obstructed because they can't handle the sun. The Onyx people are white people. They're the white man. They can't deal with the sun. They can't go in the sun. They get burned. They get sunburned from the sun. All right. Got another plasma screen here. Okay. So, these two sages on the top left, they figure out a way to fend off. It looks like they're fending off the Onyx people. You see them trying to file into town, but it looks like they have some sort of siege defense device weapon that is able to fend them off. That's really impressive. I didn't know the cloth people could construct weapons like that. It seems like when they invaded the cloth planet, I think they could withstand it for a little while. They were able to fuck some shit up on the surface of the Earth and blow up all of our buildings and civilization like they did. But I don't think they could have sustained their colony long term. I don't think they could sustain without building an underworld fortress like they have. So that's why they're sticking around here. They could be building some more shit on the surface, but it seems they have carved out the kind of existence they want in the underworld. Now that's very interesting. That was a very divine force. This is where things really get interesting, because there is some essential spiritual part of the cloth people that just can't be penetrated. It cannot be destroyed. That's what we just saw right there. The Onyx person tried to penetrate that last barrier of energy, that last layer of our inner souls that can't be touched. You can't touch it. No matter what you do, we will never die, because we always have this at the end of the tunnel. Okay, so this time, things are looking up. The sage isn't sad like she was in the last vignette. She wasn't running away from us, turning her back on us, trying to hide that she was crying. I think she's in a bit better mood this time. Okay, so the Onyx people have taken over. They've killed so many cloth people. They have a whole graveyard, mass graveyards going. They don't have enough room in the earth to bury all these cloth people. So they decide to cover up all of the bodies, all of the destruction. They build these graveyards. Now there is a sweep of energy going throughout the atmosphere. Could it be the beacon of hope? The cloth man! He is going to resurrect the cloth people. You, cloth man, are the one. You are the new hope for the cloth people. This is where it gets interesting, folks. Cloth man just figured out his destiny. He just found his destiny. He ended up on this planet. He came back. Everything gone. Zippo destroyed. His family dead. His mother dead. His sister's dead. His best friend, dead. His ex from college, dead, finally. He just found out that he is the one to bring us back. This gives everything an entirely new meaning for Clothman. He was just wandering around the desert. I don't know, I guess I'm just gonna ski down the slopes for a little bit, kill some time, I don't know. He knows what he has to live for. Woo! He is the hero of his time. Let's do this. Oh, this is just gorgeous. Oh my gosh. It's a giant whale cloth monster. He has unlimited carpet power. Look at that. I can swim right up next to him. It's like a symbiotic relationship where he will fill out my line of cloth and I will help somehow replenish his. Who knew that his destiny was laid out for him all along? There is no free will. There is no free will. We are a victim of what has been preordained by us, by our creators. That is some real good stuff, that game company. Alright, story time again. Or is it? Is it just a demo of a planetarium? Okay, it's a lot of sticker energy being consolidated into one. Okay, now the goddess is tall. She is big as fuck now. Okay, she's giving us the planetarium tour. Okay, now look at this. Look at this. Look at this. He arrives on the planet. He goes through the graveyard. He ascends the slide of destiny. He crosses into... he descends into the underworld. He goes surfing downhill. He goes into the underworld. He sees the Onyx people for the first time. He climbs up. What's he gonna do now? He has to climb up a mountain. He has to climb... He's at the home stretch. He's almost to the mountaintop with the penis hole. He is almost there. He just has to stick it out through this last leg of the race. But he's so close. But he has to keep going. The worst is yet to come for Clothman. Oh, this is rough. This is rough, folks. He's got a tough road ahead of him. But he's gonna keep pushing on. He's come this far already. Joel and Ellie, you can't quit now. You're almost in Utah. You're almost there. The Firefly camp is just a blink of an eye away. Just go. Everything will be okay. The Last of Us 2 is coming. There's a sequel. Don't worry, you'll survive. That's what Clothman feels right now. He knows he's gonna well, he doesn't know he's gonna survive, but... Alright, maybe that was a bad example. Well, this is why the cloth people, they couldn't save their own species. Because they had to get to the penis top mountain. But to get there, they had to endure this cold. They had not yet evolved to do so. So, just as he knew he was about to, he is braving this cold right now. Okay, so now we see the looming presence of the Onyx people above. They're about to rain destruction upon the cities that the cloth people have built. Imperialism, industrialization, competition, the world market is about to crumble on itself. When people get greedy and they try to break down the borders between themselves rather than nurture them, this is what happens. A Clothman has to figure it all out by himself and save the world from the evil white man, Onyx people. I hope you're not taking me too seriously with this imperialism shit. I'm just messing around. Now what we're seeing is a giant graveyard of Onyx people. The Onyx people don't seem to fare too well above ground for very long. Oh, you know what? I think it was the siege device. The defensive weapon that the Cloth people crafted. Think back to that other glyph where the sages crafted a weapon to defend against the Onyx people. I think that might have something to do with the graveyards that we see. This was a war. This was a war of attrition, people. Lots of casualties involved on both sides. But clearly, the Onyx people came out on top. All right, we're almost there, Cloth Man. You just gotta keep pushing. You're almost to the top of the penis hole. Who cares about the scarf? You don't need the scarf. You can truck it the whole way. Uh-oh, he's getting dehydrated. The altitude's getting to him. He's starting to black out a little bit. But he's gonna keep pushing. He's gonna keep pushing. But he's kind of losing it here. Oh no. What have you done? You came all this way. You came all this way just to die. Just to die. You're gonna be another one of these graves on this mountain. Oh, this is so sad. Okay, that was beautiful. You see how they go from the loudest moment in the game, immediately followed by the quietest moment in the game. I thought that was brilliant. Alright, so Clothman, he is resurrected. His spirit has made it. Oh my god, this is so nice. He gets his scarf back. He meets the 6 sages at the... Oh shit. He says, nope, I'm gonna go back for more. And the sages send him through a portal back to the real world. The portal is somewhat defended by Onyx people, but they're not going to be able to stop Clothman. He's going to make it to the end of the portal. The Onyx people can't stop him. He's at the exit, and he made it. He made it back to the Earth. This is my favorite part in this game. I'm just going to shut up and enjoy this. I'm going to shut up and enjoy this. I'll be right back. Whew, oh my god, we made it to the tip, the mushroom tip of Penis Top Mountain. Wow, that was amazing. That was spine-tinglingly good. That was orgasmic. If you have not played this game, first of all, get yourself a PS4 or a PS3 and get it. It's next to nothing, or nothing. I think on PS Plus it's free. Get yourself a proper stereo headset. Get yourself a proper HD TV, the biggest screen you have in your house. Pop an edible or two and just go for a wild ride. And we've reached the end of the tunnel. We're descending down the urethra of Penis Top Mountain. We're making our way through the vast deferens, through the shaft, down into the testicles of Penis Top Mountain. Almost there. Whoa. Okay. Okay. So he makes it to the end of Penis Top Mountain. What's going to happen? Are these graveyards going to... I've played this game like 5 times, but I never pay attention to the actual ending. I'm paying attention now. Okay, so Clothman is flying across the stratosphere, and he's going to hopefully spread his energy across and resurrect all of his people, I hope. Whew. Okay. Wow. Wow. Now, if you notice, once you get to the end of that credit sequence with that beautiful song, once you get to the end of that, you get to the beginning of the journey where it all started. Just like how the game began. As Clothman is shooting across the stratosphere, he's not saving his fellow kind. He's not spraying any kind of restorative energy that's saving his people. He's flying back to where he started. And we start the journey all over again. The same journey. The same futile journey. What is masked by this beautifully crafted and colorful and whimsical and, visceral game, underneath that is this incredibly pessimistic view of life. That's really powerful stuff. And it's all right there if you just kind of decide to pay attention to it. I played this game, as I mentioned several times before, and I had no idea how deep this game really was. I just thought it was pretty. This is just blowing my mind right now. Anyway, this is a great game, and I want to kill myself now.